creepy passport bros, more specifically, Polish passport bros. We're going to be talking about that in today's video. Polish woman exposes creepy passport bros online by Where's Wes. Link to the original videos down in the description below. If you like the commentary and discussions we do here on my channel, consider subscribing. Also, we love Where's Wes. Let's get into it.
Are invading Poland, and it's a lot worse than you think. So a woman posted something on the Warsaw Reddit page saying, "I've been approached by more than 10 guys in Warsaw in one day. I'm a 24-year-old girl from Poland. I often go to my workplace in the center of Warsaw. And usually when I'm around Zlote Tarasy, I often get approached by a guy or two. I always decline politely and refuse giving my IG or phone number and move on. It's creepy having random guys stopping you on the street asking for your number. And it's not socially acceptable in Poland." This is actually something I've noticed too, and we're gonna talk about it in a little bit. But one day, I've been approached more than 10 guys, 11 to be precise.
Jesus, that's awful. I mean, it's worse in certain countries. And also depending on where you live in certain countries. But that's still pretty bad. That's still pretty bad. I think for any woman to have to go through that consistently. Yeah, it's pretty disgusting in my opinion.
4 on my way to work and 7 on my way back. And I'm just afraid that they might film me, as I found many videos later on YouTube where they are filming themselves approaching girls and record all the encounter. So the comments are
that, and by the way, for those that want to say that's not a real thing, it happens a lot. One of the reasons why we talk about passport bros on this channel, especially Polish passport bros, it's ridiculous. I think we've already exposed 2 or 3 of them already on this channel, and we talked about them already. So, yeah, we've have history. So if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. We're always going to be talking about them on this channel.
really interesting. There's a lot of people saying that, you know, don't give them any attention. In defense of these pickup artists, a lot of people sign up for these courses with good intentions because it's very difficult to talk to women in general. And I think that's why men are willing to pay thousands of dollars to go to these boot camps. And I do think there are certain cities in the world that are more okay for this kind of thing. For example, like Las Vegas, because it's a party city, or for example, maybe in some of the Latin American countries like Mexico or Colombia, where it's a little bit more socially acceptable to do these things. But here in Poland and in Eastern Europe in general, the culture itself is not very friendly, right?
I'm gonna be honest. Okay, I don't know if I agree with the whole paying somebody to coach you in courses and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure Wes offers something similar to this, or he has his own like consulting of some sort. I don't know what it is. I've never signed up for it, but he offers it in the description of his videos. So I don't know if he's a little biased here, but I'm not a fan of those classes, courses and stuff. I just want to get that out of the way.
So this is what I tell people all the time when people are asking me like, hey, what is Poland like? Is it a good place for dating? Is it a good place for day game? And I always tell them that like, this isn't really the place for that, because you have to understand that Poland, very similar to East Asia, is a very standoffish culture. People are very closed. People usually stay within their own groups. And it's even worse here in Warsaw compared to like some of the smaller cities. At least in the smaller cities, people are kind of like standoffish, but if they see you a few times, they slowly will open up to you. And once you break through the hard exterior of Slavic people, then you can develop a very close bond. I always think day game,
which I think there's nothing wrong with that, to be honest. I know a lot of places are like dramatically different, but I actually don't think anything's wrong with being closed off, especially to tourists. They're not going to be there forever. So like, why would you even entertain that? Does that make sense? Unless you're trying to sell something, that's different. But I don't actually think anything's wrong with that, because here in America, we have standoffish culture where there is no pre-existing like history of it. Does that make sense? Like, there's really no excuse for people to be standoffish in America. In a lot of places in America, they're just that because they're jerks. Whereas if someone's standoffish in Poland, there's like kind of a cultural historic reason for that. It's not, you know, there's a real excuse for it, where here in America there's definitely not.
is very weird, because the idea of going up to a random girl who you don't know, she has no idea who you are, your intentions, and after a 5 to 10 minute interaction, you ask her for her phone number, maybe to take her out on a date. From a woman's perspective, I can see why that would be really alarming.
It'd be creepy. Yeah, I can see it.
If a guy went up to my sister this way, would I want her to go out with him? If a guy approached my daughter this way, how would I want her to react? And definitely understanding more about the Polish culture. They're very protective of their culture, of their language, but also their women. Chivalry is very important here. And from what I've noticed, a lot of people who have Polish girlfriends,
I wouldn't even say of women. I would just say of their neighbor. I think it's a better way to phrase it of their community. Like I don't even. I think it's a weird way to phrase it. Maybe you guys in the comments can let me know. But um, I think it's much more than that. I feel like.
they've worked together, or they studied together, or they have a lot of like history together, and they met them through mutual friends. I think a couple of years ago, my friends who have been here for a while said that they use Tinder a lot, and that was like a really big way for people to meet people. But I think a lot of the dating apps are dead now because of a lot of these pickup artists and passport bros trying to come to the country just for the women.
Also, they're just awful apps. I mean, I haven't had to use one in a long, long time, thank God. But the thing is, it's like they're just so hell bent on making money off of you that it's just it doesn't even feel like a real experience that you're getting. So I think it's more that than the passport bros. But also, like, if I guess, yeah, if people are, you know what? No, he's right. Yeah, if someone's like, if you know that there's like a trend of sex tourists coming to your country, yeah, they're gonna flood the apps, and so now everything's gonna be oversaturated or ruined. So the market's basically ruined. So I can see that. Maybe he's right. Maybe it's more that, especially for Poland.
A couple months ago, I made a video calling out this creator CB Alto, right? And how he goes on the street and tries to portray Polish women as easy for easy clicks,
Which we talked about him on our channel too.
and for views.
And it's with a black guy. And I think about his dick, like, okay, it will be big.
Most of the time, they don't want a relationship with you. They just want to have sex or something.
And a lot of people agreed with me that these videos were distasteful, but a lot of people were like, what is the issue with this content? Number one, he's not a local, so he's trying to portray Polish women or Ukrainian women in a certain life for his own personal gain. But number two, when you constantly portray to the world that Polish women are easy and that they're whores, people are gonna come thinking that they're whores.
Yes, and we shared the same take. Like we like Where's West, so I'm always very fair with his content, and I always give my opinions how I see it. But we 100% agree on this. I think there's a certain level of content that can be made before it starts getting really kind of net negative. It's a negative result, right? Unless it's completely neutral. But that guy's content is not neutral. It's always, let's make these women come off like whores, basically, kind of like he says. And so it's like that's not even not representative of the country as a whole or the culture, but it intentionally plays into these sex tourists, these passport bros that watch his content. So it's like he's creating the bait for those people to come to the country, and I think that's very, very nasty. I don't think that's good, right? It's just, yeah, I don't know. It sets a bad precedent, and it can lead to a lot of bad experiences and bad expectations.
So you're going to attract this certain caliber of men.
Exactly.
And this is why I personally try to avoid making these kind of videos on my channel. This comment I thought was interesting. A girl I knew was part of it. There's a business in Warsaw in exactly that location, and coaches that teach men how to approach women. The exam part is to actually do it yourself. They wear headphones and glasses with the camera, and the teacher on the other side is telling them what girls to approach and what to say. She got paid to pretend that she was not aware of the scheme and flirt with them so they feel like they were doing good. So it's essentially they were a part of the scam. And this comment's like, that's the exactly kind of con loser who pays $1,000 on a course to hit on women deserves. See, I don't think these comments are fair because it is very difficult to approach women and just like talking to women in general.
I don't know. I this is where I'm going to disagree with Brody. I like him a lot, but I think he offers some type of consulting. I don't know what it is. I'm pretty sure it's like dating advice. I'm pretty sure. But I could be wrong. He could correct me in the comments. You guys can correct me in the comments. But regardless, I don't agree. The reason being is if you have that kind of money to spend on coaching, right? I think there's a better use for that in the same area of self-growth. For example, a lot of these guys may not be in shape. They're kind of like, I mean, I'm saying this as somebody who's losing weight, but also was really, really fat. It's like you could use that money to do a lot of things that will actually benefit you long term, and that is not extremely superficial, and it's not in a space where it's a bunch of scams. Like there's a lot of things you can do that also address the root issue, right? Because a lot of it, I don't know if he's going to talk about confidence, but like if the idea is confidence to talk to women, but you don't look the best, you don't look the best, then you're always going to be doubting. Does that make sense? Like there's so much other things. Basically, there's so many other things you can do with that kind of money to actually address root issues rather than try to overcompensate or have somebody, I don't know, babysit you in your dating life.
I understand where that insecurity comes from, and it is frustrating sometimes, especially when women are like lecturing men. I can't believe that men pay thousands of dollars just so they can learn to talk to women. Yes, this is what we do because we have to learn how to do it.
No, bro. No. Okay. See, that's where, yeah, okay. He's no. The thing that is so bad. That's not how you learn how to do it. You learn it from your boys. You learn it from a parent figure. You learn it through just developing hobbies. Like, for example, oh, I don't know how to talk to women. Then get some hobbies. Learn how to talk to people, right? The idea is, it's like, well, how do you, oh, I don't know how to do a giga chat flirt. Oh, it's like, dude, no, that's not, if that's your whole shtick, then you're missing the point entirely, right? It's that, nah. I like Wes, but there's, nah, dude, that's a terrible take. Terrible take. Right? Now, I will be fair though. I would understand if someone's like maybe on the spectrum, they don't really know how to talk to people in general, right? Like I'm being fair here. If there's someone on the spectrum and they just can't talk to people as equally or as easily as other people, then I can see that, right? There's courses and there's classes for that, to practice talking to people, right? And how to navigate certain situations. And so something like this might be a good way to supplement that original, courses of how to talking to people. I can see that. But if you don't have a legitimate disability, then I don't know about that. That to me, it's just, it's just, as a guy myself who's gone through a lot of changes, who's had low confidence, but also high confidence, who's had no hobbies and hobbies. I just think that's a huge cop out. That no, there's no excuse.
Some people are a little bit more natural when it comes to making women feel at ease and flirting. But for a lot of men who didn't grow up with women or didn't have female friends, it's extremely difficult, and they want the women, but they have no idea how to get there.
But it's like he said it himself. It's like people who may not have had a lot of friends, they want the women. Well, the fact is, if you want a woman in your life, unironically, she's going to be one of your best friends. So you need to learn how to have good friends. So I don't understand. Okay, I love Wes, but he's losing me with this take. He's losing me so hard. I love him. I'm still going to love him. But this video, yeah, I don't know. This is such a weird take.
So that's why a lot of these pickup artists and these coaches charge thousands of dollars trying to help these guys do these things. A lot of guys from...
No, they're not helping. They're scamming them. It's literally, they're just scamming these guys. Okay? It's like, I don't understand. There's no reason. There's no, hey, if you're spending thousands of dollars on a pickup artist to teach you how to talk to women, how about you give me those thousands of dollars and I'll tell you what you need to do to just get confidence. That has nothing to do with talking to women, just in general. I'll do it for free. Fuck it. This is the point. This is the point. Real mentors don't charge. Because the reality is, when there's an incentive to keep you stupid, they're going to keep making more money. So oh my God, as an American, if there's anything America knows is capitalism and scammers. So like, we need to stop this bullshit. I'm sorry, Wes. I love you, but it's a horrible takes.
UK, US see Slavic women as the ultimate traditional woman. Think that just because they're from rich countries, girls here would drool all over them. It's so cringe. And that is the opinion of a lot of Western men. This approach actually does work in a lot of these smaller countries. I was talking to this guy. He's another...
All right, let's go back. I zoned out. Sorry. Took a look at the passport report. A lot of use Slavic see you as the ultimate traditional woman and think that just because they're from rich countries, so drill over them is so cringe. That is true. We actually reacted to a video where a guy was trying to do that.
Here with drool all over him. It's so cringe. And that is the opinion of a lot of Western men. This approach actually does work in a lot of these smaller countries. I was talking to this guy. He's another YouTuber. I'm not going to call him out, but he told me that he went to some of the smaller villages, I believe in Belarus, and he would actively take out his passport, American passport, and show it to the girls to try to pick up girls. It was the cringiest thing that I ever heard in my life. But this is the approach. And that's why a lot of American men specifically go to places like Colombia or Mexico and a lot of these poorer countries and try to use their money to pick up these women. And I'm going to be honest, in a lot of places, it does work. But this comment, I think,
which is funny because as we talked about passport bros on this channel, I learned a new term. It's MBH. Nobody back home. Yeah, they're nobody back home. So
I think is very telling. Polish women are everything but traditional, especially in Warsaw. It is not the 1970s anymore. And this is so true. After being here in Warsaw for a few months, I've come to the conclusion that I don't think this is the best place to find a wife or to date. Poland in general, the women are taught to be extremely independent, not depend on their man. There's a lot of history behind that with, you know, alcoholic fathers or absent fathers, and you know, I may talk about that in a different video. But what separates Poland from a lot of other Western countries is that they're in this middle ground between Western culture and Eastern culture, even though now it's pushing a lot more towards Western culture.
well, not only that, it's like he might even talk about this in the video. He's absolutely right. I'm pretty sure. I've never been to Warsaw, but as talking to more Polish people, because obviously huge Polish audience, and I have Polish friends, they actually tell me that, at least generally, this is not truth. The idea is like if you want a more Polish experience, you would go not just to Warsaw, but other places than Warsaw. Does that make sense? So, but again, like I'm not visiting Poland for the sake of dating and like passport bro type shit. I'm a tourist. I've always said in the beginning, ever since I started talking about countries that I want to visit, I am absolutely a tourist. Now, some of y'all like to make jokes that, oh, when you get here, you're going to find a wife and then you'll never leave. Maybe you're right. But till then, I'm right. Just kidding. till then, you don't get the last laugh. I do. Just kidding. Hey, some of y'all been right. Some of y'all been right about a lot of things, okay? Y'all joke about things and then you end up being right. And I'm like, damn, they get me every time. So I gotta be careful. It's all a setup. Y'all are too funny. I love you guys.
Just because as a country learns English, especially with social media nowadays, and they have access to TikTok and Instagram, they're being fed a lot of these Western values. Here in Warsaw, because it's a big city, it's very international, this is where the most liberal people and the most liberal women are. I had a conversation.
Which is ironic because like Western liberalism is probably the worst thing your country can have, just in my opinion, because if you live in America, I can tell you this as somebody who lives in America in a very liberal city, the entire belief system is built on convenience, whatever's convenient to them, because oftentimes these liberal people vote, but they never live in the areas where they'll actually see the consequences of their own actions. So everything is extremely convenient. So that's why, as me personally, seeing countries that don't adopt that type of Western liberalism, they tend to do much better in the world and have progressed a lot in a short amount of time, because it's not so self-destructive. Does that make sense?
With one of the most far left streamers here in Poland. Her name is Kasia Babia, and she is as left-leaning as any woman from the
I've watched some of her stuff. Yeah, she's kind of definitely out of touch. No offense to her, but she's definitely fried. She's definitely fried on that TikTok brain.
West that you'll meet. So she asked me a question. She's like, well, what's the problem if women want to be sexually free and expose themselves that way?
So what if the Polish girls are easy? They're having a lot of sex. How is that bad?
Because if you're portrayed as slut to the world, then men will treat you as sluts.
True. And then also, guess what's going to happen? If mass migration hits your country, guess what all those people who come to your country are going to think? Which are typically military-aged males, because somehow the women and children never migrate. Guess what's going to happen? They're going to treat your women like they're going to treat them like property, because that's what they see online, and they're going to adapt it to their own cultural beliefs. So you're basically not only putting your women generations and generations of progress gone, like you're literally setting them up for the worst outcome. And it's being proven time and time and time again. It's the whole idea of, again, American liberalism is ideas that never affect you. That are it's an ideology of convenience and luxury, and one that you only believe if you've never experienced the consequences of your own actions. Does that make sense?
And maybe you're okay with that, but I know from my sister or my daughter or my friends, I would not want foreigner men coming and treating them like whores. And this is why
Or property.
image and reputation matters. I'm still happy to say that this whole passport bro pickup thing here in Poland still hasn't really taken off as compared to some other places, maybe like Colombia and Mexico or Thailand or the Philippines, where this is a lot more prevalent. But they're definitely coming, because I think Slavic women are probably the most universally desired women and universally accepted as beautiful.
Yeah, they're very, very beautiful too. And I also think it's like, just me personally, like jokes aside and memes aside, I just think that self-worth and self-value is just being forgotten. There's no such thing as shame anymore. And I wish, like, if I had a daughter, I would want her to know that she's not a piece of flesh to people. Does that make sense? Like, I would want her to know that she's beautiful and she's valued and she's important, and that she should hold herself to that standard, and not just be a piece of meat people hand around. So it's celebrated here in America, and I think it's one of the worst qualities, because it sets a lot of women up for failure, and that's why you're seeing a lot of women actually end up like losers, because they might work for the 0.001% of women, but not everybody else. It's the same thing with like OnlyFans, right? Oh, anybody can get rich off of this. Oh, and then all these girls put their stuff online, and then their life's ruined forever, and they never made any money. Now they just look like idiots. So I just think it's a luxury ideology, because it only works for those who it works for, and then everyone else has to deal with the consequences.
All around the world. And I think that's why a lot of foreign men fetishize Slavic women so much. But the Western idea of Slavic women is that they are submissive and traditional, and that is not true at all. In my experience, especially here in Warsaw, they're very independent and they're very ambitious. To be fair,
which is good. I think you should. That's the thing though. Like, you could be traditional and have self-respect and still be ambitious and like go-getter and like want a job and all this. Like, you could do that. I just hate this weird. This is why I hate American ideologies. They're never they don't believe in nuance, and they don't believe in a middle road, in a middle path. Right? You either have to be a piece of flesh that all the guys hang around, and somehow you think that's great, or you have to be someone that just marries the first person you meet, and that's it. Like, no, I'm not a fan of either extremes.
it's not only foreigners that are doing this. I've been watching a lot of Polish content lately, and there's a lot of Polish content creators too that are doing this to their own women. So I don't think it's as bad as places like Latin America, where their global reputation is how much they sexualize their women. But I think it's definitely getting there. And this is why maintaining the image of being classy and not easy is very, very important. Middle Eastern countries have been able to do that well. Asian countries have been able to do that well. If your country has a reputation for the women having high standards and being classy, you're not going to attract all of these low caliber men. In the heart
True. That again, you know what? I love Wes, because he really summarized it perfectly. If you're acting like a piece of meat, you're gonna attract the dogs, the strays. You're not gonna attract anything of value. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
the Polish capital, groups of men are increasingly seen harassing women under the guidance of so-called pickup artists. Among them is Belarusian Alex Leslie, a notorious seduction guru wanted in Russia in charge of incitement to Russian.
That is some serious stuff. Why is that guy there? That's weird. That's strange. What the fuck?
His interior ministry put him on the wanted list. In Warsaw, he has already held trainings and posted photos of his students kissing women on the street. No clarity on whether those women
Why is this guy? Why has this guy not been extradited? What the fuck?
And yeah, I've always had an issue with those videos because these videos are so common in Colombia. And I really dislike that. I always found that content very, very icky. So I've been aware of the scene for a very long time. And I do have a lot of friends who are in that community. I know a lot of guys who are coming to Warsaw and to Poland specifically to date the women. Personally, I don't have a problem with people traveling to other countries to date and find a better partner. Because a lot of men are coming to places like Poland or Ukraine or Colombia or these places to find a wife. But a lot of girls do that too.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. And that's one of the things I notice now that I didn't notice before. Or maybe it's more prevalent now. There's a lot of women coming to the US trying to find men. Whereas like the stereotype was men would go to other countries and they would try to get their green card. But it's like, no, you have very successful women coming to the US trying to find an American husband instead. So it's like that, like, I don't know if maybe it's because I watched What Where's West that I've noticed it more, but it's actually extremely common now. Maybe it's just where I live because I live in Seattle. We have a lot of people that come here, a lot of tourists and stuff. So a lot of business women from other countries. So maybe it's just that. I don't know. But either way, like, yeah, he's absolutely right. If you would have asked me like 5 years ago, I probably would not have seen that at all. Maybe I just wouldn't have noticed.
A lot of European women like going to Latin countries, for example, or to Spain or Italy because they romanticize the way that those men, how romantic they are and how well they treat their partners. So I believe that this actually goes both ways. I think you just see it a lot more from the man's perspective because there's an expectation that the man has to pursue. And because of that, that's why men are required to learn how to talk to women and pay thousands of dollars.
No, bro. No. No, that is such a horrible take. I think he's got to be extremely biased. There's a reason why he has this bad take. But at the same time, I will say this, the reason why also is from the man's perspective is because just to be fair here, a lot of the content creators are men because there is a rise in female loneliness as well. So it's a loneliness epidemic on both sides right now. So I'm just saying that there's a reason why like you only see from the male's perspective is because a lot of the content creators are that. Because if the same rules apply, then you would see women doing the same thing on a mass scale, but they're not.
For these courses. So I don't think it's fair just to say that, oh, I don't understand how men can pay and do all these things for women.
No, I understand. You can understand it and still say it's lame. They're a bunch of losers. If I found out my boy was doing this, I would make fun of him. Okay? There's a great term called bullying. No, it's like you gotta like it has nothing. Oh my God. Okay, it's really annoying me, Wes. I love you, bro. I love you. Please. I know you watch my videos. Okay? I know you watch my videos. Please comment on this. Listen, brother, that is not the take. I will debate you on this. I will debate you on this. As somebody who lives in America, you haven't lived here in a while. I can tell you it is not what you're saying, bro. Maybe at least over here, okay? Over here, it's not like that. Okay? There is no real excuse outside of a disability to be paying for something like this. Because if the whole purpose is communication, that is not addressing the real root issue of the problem. The root issue of the problem might be something more. It might be confidence, might be health, might be skincare, it might be hell. Some people are going bald, and so maybe you don't pay thousands of dollars in a coach. Maybe you pay for a hair transplant. There's a bunch of things you can do to fix that. Hell, there's people getting height adjustments. I don't even judge that. I think that's fine. It's your money. If you want to put yourself through that kind of pain to get taller, fuck it. I mean, I saw the video and that scared the fuck out of me with all the rods and shit in their legs. I would never do that. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be confident when I am. But I'm not going to judge them on that. I'm going to judge them on this because it doesn't address a root issue. And if anything, it's just falling into a trap of someone else, and that's it.
Women. Everything that men do, we do for women. If women didn't care about us having a nice apartment or having a nice job or having high status, we won't care about any of those things.
That is not true, brother. Brother, you know how many women date bums? You know how many women date losers? I can tell you this. As somebody who was a loser, I was still getting bitches, respectfully. Like the thing, it's like, it's really not that. It's oh my God. Okay, maybe I you know what? I think the internet has fried our brains, okay? Confidence goes a long way. Having hobbies goes a long way. Having something to talk about goes a long way. But if your sole purpose is like, I need women and I need a woman, I need a woman, I need a woman, you're a creep, respectfully. Like you're missing the point, okay? Like you're looking for a product and that product is a woman. That is not how you do life. That is fucking weird.
And are totally happy with a inflatable mattress, a TV, a PlayStation, and a freaking kitchen.
I've met girls that live like this. Okay, I was in college once. You'd be surprised how some of these women live. That's why there's that meme of there's a meme of Goofy where he's talking to this girl and it's like, "You damn girl, you live like this." That's the reason why that meme exists. I'm not gonna put it in the video, but I encourage you guys to look it up. There's a whole reason for that.
That's all we need. But we do all of these things for women. And I don't think a lot of women realize that. I'm not trying to justify these pickup artists because I think that a lot of this, like the filming people on the street and trying to tell the world that all these women are easy, I think that's pretty disgusting stuff. But from the other side, I wish a lot of women understood how difficult it is as a man to really be attractive to women and to know how to talk to women.
Okay, bro. I hate this. If you can't talk to the woman, don't talk to her. Fuck it. Okay? Okay, I'm going to put you on some game. Ready? This is going to be the best thing that could ever happen to you. All you need is a computer, okay? There is a video game called VR Chat. It's a game, you select a little avatar, you look all goofy or whatever, and you could talk to strangers. You can listen to strangers, and you could do everything you would do in person in a video game. So then there's no stakes, no having to pay or travel or be weird and like look for a woman as a product. Like at that point, you're basically the thing you're preaching against, right? It's just, if you're really that, I'm going to use the word desperate. He's never said the word desperate. Desperate for a woman, you need to be desperate to get your life a little bit more together, okay? Because there's people out here who got no money, got no cars, are bums, and still pulling bitches. It's crazy. There's a meme, literally, all these girls, baby daddies, are bums. How? What's your excuse? Because you didn't, guys, you look, listen, it's because you didn't, ladies just didn't understand that you had to pay a coach. No, what the fuck? Wes, I love you, but this is a horrible take.
So as far as I can see, I don't think Warsaw is a really good place to date, to be honest.
No,
I don't
but
know, the
he's
culture
right.
here is very superficial. It does seem like a lot of relationships are transactional to a certain extent.
That's literally the dating coach stuff. It's like, what the fuck, dude?
To be honest, I personally would not recommend Warsaw for trying to find a wife or a long-term partner. I highly recommend you guys.
True. I mean, he's fantastic when it comes to recognizing Poland. He's one of the best creators, Polish creators that I know. I love him, even though I disagree with a lot of what he said in this video. But yes, it is weird that there is these people harassing women in Poland. Let me know what you think. Do you disagree or agree? Are you the passport bro that's going to start beef with me? Wes, do you disagree with me? Am I being too harsh? Let me know. Love you guys. Check it out on the next one. Bye-bye. This video is brought to you, actually, by viewers like you. Thank you so much for subscribing and being part of my journey and allowing me to be a part of yours. Let's create new memories this 2025 on our road to 1 million subscribers. And with all that jazz out of the way, I just want to say thank you so much. I love y'all and enjoy the video.